quiet seaside town, an evil laid to rest centuries ago, has risen. An abandoned fortress deep in the swamp holds a secret that could save the village or destroy it. Now, a band of adventurers sets out to dig up the wounds of the past and bring the light of day to the roots of ruin. This is Tabletop Gold.
Everyone, and welcome to Tabletop Gold episode, Roots of Ruin, of course, episode 78. Welcome to all you friends of Hoot out there joining us for another delightful evening of getting stuck in an underground dungeon and being murdered by the grossest thing you've ever seen in your life. I'm Lars Casteen.
Hoot, hoot.
Hoot, hoot. Good to see you. Good to see everybody out there. Let's go around the old horn and see how everybody else is doing. First up on the list today, and an odd first appearance, David the Tin Man Chernicoff is here.
Yeah, good that time. Hello. Glad to be back with you all in the show.
Good that time. Welcome to the show. Robin Lange is here.
Good hat time.
Okay, another. There's only one hat on the call today, and
mediocre hat time.
An unconvincing hat time. Zoe Chernicoff is here.
Hello. Good that time.
Good that time. And Armat Humphreys is here.
Good evening and good that time.
Good that time. Anytime you're listening to the show, I hope you're having a good one right now. Okay, we're going to get into some business right away because we frankly do not have time to mess around tonight, and there's an important order of business that we need to immediately get involved with. You may remember, listener, maybe 2 months ago, maybe 9 weeks ago, maybe 6 weeks ago. It could have been 4 weeks ago. I'm not in the recent past is what I'm trying to tell you. Our Matt Humphreys had a story to share about a run-in with a nocturnal animal. Let's recap what that conversation was like. Previously on Tabletop Gold.
Oh, yep, there it is.
You can't be the skunk that was my father. My father was... I'm just trying to, hype up, get people going back into the archive.
Roll for terror.
You're right.
Roll for panic.
Roll for surprising melodramatic relationship with skunk. I ran into a skunk, basically. Yeah,
there was.
Tomato juice everywhere.
And we said at the time, so you had a run-in with a skunk. You were walking your dog in your beautiful East Texas locale, right?
Yep. And it really is like proving all the stuff I learned in theater class in school, basically, because one, we've got a real Chekhov's skunk situation going on here.
Which we said there would be. My prediction, when we talked about Hank having a near miss with this skunk, I told you that we were going to hear back on this story in the future.
I believe the term Chekhov's skunk was used in the last episode that we talked about Hank and the skunk.
Yeah,
could be.
And it could not have been more accurate because also the rule of comedy coming in threes, first encounter with skunk, totally fine. Scary, but we were like 5 feet away. Nothing happened. Second encounter with skunk, much the same. Third encounter with skunk on Saturday night. Womp, womp. Poor Hank, he got
blasted.
He got blasted. I had been playing a commander game of Magic with some buddies online, and game ran late, so we went out, and it was pretty dark, and we were just going to do our, just around the yard quick once over for his final walk of the evening, and then he gets his bedtime treat, which he's always very excited about.
Oh, what's his bedtime treat?
They're called no hide sticks, like because
rawhide
is really bad for animals, as it turns out. So anyway, he gets one at bedtime every night, and he loves them, goes crazy for him.
Cool. We sedate our dog at night. That
Oh,
makes
yeah?
sense. Yeah.
Well, you got to do what you got to
Bedtime
do.
treat. Yeah.
But yeah, so we went out, and before I could do anything, and this is where hubris comes in. Speaking of other like theater stuffy, I was thinking like, I wonder if I should put Hank on a leash. Like, we've been not doing it of late because we're pretty sure we got one of the skunks maybe. So yeah, screw it. I'll just go out. Immediately on exiting the door, Hank starts barking, chases down what turns out to be the skunk, and then immediately like dives to the ground and starts rolling on the ground trying to get skunk juice off of him. And I had an exciting moment of throwing together a improvised skunk detergent shampoo with hydrogen peroxide. For those playing the home game, it's 1 quart hydrogen peroxide, 1 cup baking soda, and a teaspoon, just a teaspoon, just a little dash for flavor of dishwasher detergent.
Oh,
No bleach.
Did it work?
No bleach.
He is now a blonde, but he doesn't smell at all.
Okay.
No, it worked okay. He still kind of smells a little skunky, but I think we did the
Is
best
he
we
bugged
could.
by that or only you?
I think it's more me than him, actually. He seems totally unaffected for the
There's
most
like
part.
a tang that hangs around for like a week with it, right?
Yeah, it's not great. I'll be honest.
My dog growing up got hit a couple times,
Oh,
and it would
poor
always
pup.
like follow him. Like, because also I had a dog, I had a Schnauzer, and they don't shed their coats.
Oh, right. Yeah. They hold on
And
to
so-
smells,
It's gonna
right?
stick around.
They hold on to the smell for a lot longer, so we would have to give him like a couple of those baths throughout the week.
Aw.
So we would give them a mix of that. We go back between that and the tomato juice.
So you
to
did
try
you
and-
did the tomato juice.
Oh
then.
yeah, we would do that
Did that
too.
accomplish anything? Because
Ah.
that sounds truly demoralizing
It would.
For everyone.
It
for
would
everybody.
do
Nobody
it would
wins.
do
The
something
tomato company
slightly
wins.
different than the peroxide would.
Does that make your dog red and sticky? Is that the difference?
No, well, because you do that and then you rinse it off. So like we'd go back and forth between the two. Like one night we'd
Oh,
do
you
one and then
rinse
we'd do
it.
the
You
other.
rinse it.
Yeah.
That's,
No, he doesn't.
that's
He
the
doesn't.
part
Don't
that
leave it
keeps it on
in.
the whole
It's not a
time.
massage and then let your dog.
Yeah.
So, Robin, it sounds to me like what you're describing, and Armet, tell me if this sounds right to you as well. You're describing like skunk blast smell as having like a multifaceted odor that needs to be covered over with multiple different angles.
It's like you're trying to both cover it and remove it.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So the tomato juice kind of covers it. And I think there must be some of the acid in tomato juice tries to remove it as well, because there's plenty
Makes
of acid
sense,
in tomatoes.
yeah.
That are like pectin or whatever it is. And then the mix that Armat described helps, I think, remove this smell. But that stuff is awful.
Wouldn't it be easier to just prevent all of this by tranquilizing your dog up front?
You'd think.
Interesting.
think.
Interesting.
Honestly, strong recommendation. I'm going to take that under consideration. Hank, how do you feel about sedation, buddy?
I feel good about that.
Well, that sounds definitive.
He's
Wow.
talking.
Would it work with a dog to shave them if they had skunk smell? Like, I mean, acknowledging that's its own kind of demoralizing. Like, does that do it, or does it sink into the skin?
I don't actually know. I would guess that the oil stays mostly on the fur.
You'd think, right?
But I think the problem is with certain dog breeds as well, though, shaving them is very bad for the growth of their fur.
Hmm.
Mm.
I can imagine all sorts of reasons you wouldn't want to shave your dog to like a full level 1 razor nude.
Yeah.
For example, how weird most dogs would look.
Right.
And how sad
the
they'd
judgment
be.
you'd receive from
Yeah.
other
The judgment
humans.
they'd receive from other dogs.
Hank
Yeah.
becomes a totally different dog, incidentally, when he's like even just wet and all his fur is clinging to him. He like reduces in volume by a solid 30% and becomes a much smaller dog.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
Your legs
totally.
always
Yeah.
look so weird.
So, Armet, do you think this is going to happen again, or do you think this is the end of the skunk saga?
God, I hope it's the end of the skunk saga. I would dearly, dearly love this for me to be the last time that I mention a skunk. Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's
Probably in the winter. I don't know. In my mind, most things that are nocturnal also hibernate, but that's not based on anything.
I
March is
do
gonna
not
hit.
know.
Bam! That skunk's gonna be back.
The skunk season. They're out there ready to blast once spring's first buds blossom.
Yeah,
You know the old saying:
yeah.
Once a stink badger comes out,
April showers brings skunk
Boy.
bring stink badgers.
Mhm.
showers.
Well, friends, I'm glad for that update. Thanks, Armat. Let's move on.
Thanks for indulging me, guys.
I loved it. I loved hearing about it. I'm really sorry that you went through it, but here's the thing, is
Not
that getting
fun.
blasted by a skunk is like such a delightful tragedy because no long-term damage gets done.
Yeah,
And it's like
Except to your
so,
upholstery.
Oh, well, I am sorry for that. But it's like the experience that you went through in dealing with it, I'm sure was irritating as hell, but it very quickly becomes funny, doesn't it? Like
yeah.
the
definitely.
transition from tragedy to comedy with a skunk happens
Oh, yeah.
nearly immediately, right?
I
or maybe I'm wrong.
definitely thought it was like, well, at least I've got a story out of this. you
Yeah,
know?
right.
Sure.
Yeah.
This caps off the skunk saga of 2022 for me.
You've been anticipating this for so long.
I have to say, yeah, I did think it was going to happen earlier, though. Honestly, I thought I was going to come back like a week or two later, not. So it actually did catch me off guard, which, like, well played, skunk. Well played.
Well
Good on you,
played.
Stink
That'll
Badger.
do, skunk. That'll do.
You gotta come up with a name for the skunk now.
On the count of 3, everyone say their best skunk
Yes.
name.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Uncle
Trevor.
Skunkle.
All right. So moving on to reviews.
I think we killed it there, guys.
We did it. We did a great job. I want to take a moment to thank everyone who's left a review of Tabletop Gold at their podcast app of choice. It's extremely helpful when you guys do it. I really appreciate it. This came in on Apple Podcasts from Elo, and they say that our show has a unique cast of characters and is a ton of fun. And I appreciate it. It's so simple to leave such a nice review that makes us feel so great and helps us out with the old, what I like to call the algo.
I like to call it the rhythm.
This is the rhythm of the
Skunk-
internet.
Stink badger.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Vinegaroon.
Okay. Okay, good. Let's get into it. Let's play our game. That was fun. What a fun time that was. I had such a good time with that.
It was the best of times.
It was the
And
best.
now
of
it's the
times.
worst of times.
It was the stinkiest of
with
times.
the
Yeah, now we have to
gibbering-
remember this shitty thing that's happening.
gibbering mouther.
You've re-entered the fortress below Gauntlet, the so-called Abomination vaults, to explore the deeper levels and find the source of Belcora Harovex's potentially city-destroying power. That goal has been interrupted, though, in a tile-floored room featuring a walkway surrounding a yawning pit where a pair of flesh-warped monstrosities known as grothlets and an aberration covered with gibbering mouths shambled forward in a symphony of brain-melting mouth sounds and attacked you. Now, mere moments after Ao punctured the mouther with a perfectly placed shot, one of its many maws has opened wide to swallow Vadim whole. We're in the middle of a combat. We're in initiative order.
Ah!
Oh no!
We're jumping from this fun, good time convo about getting blasted by a skunk straight into the mouth of madness. Here's the situation. Like I mentioned in that recap, you are in this room with this short tile floor and a large circular walkway surrounding this deep pit. Where we are picking up right now, this gibbering mouther that is badly injured, many of its mouths are struggling to suck in air as it is suffocating, but one of its mouths has opened up to try to enclose Vadim within itself. And now, as this mouther is attempting to engulf Vadim, I need you to please make a saving throw. The one that I just put in chat will do fine.
Alrighty, let's see what happens.
Reflex save. Vadim's best save. Vadim, built for reflex.
Oh, but not so great when I get a 2 on the die.
Yikes.
Here's a question. Do I have a hero point? I have 1 hero point. And you know what? I'm going to use it. I'm going to use that hero point.
All right.
Let's try that reflex save. Part the dose.
Let's see if Vadim can dig deep, find a heroic feeling within himself, and dodge out of the way. What did you roll on your reflex save?
I got a 9 on the die for a 20, which is a big improvement over the 13 I got before. So
That's true.
Might still not be enough, but at least I'm leaving it all on the field today.
The DC was a 21.
Oh,
What?
So close, and
Rigged.
yet so far.
This mouther is sickened from the piteous moan of the Grothlet, and I was like, does that push the DC to a 20? Did Vadim make it? He did not. It pushed it to a 21. So Vadim is pulled into the monster's body and is immediately grabbed, slowed
God.
1, and needs to start holding his breath.
inside?
Well, you might want to hold off on saying too much more than that, because if you use verbal anything while you're holding your breath, you run out of rounds of breath. Your
no.
current you have a number of
He was
rounds
thinking it. It was
of
internal
breath.
monologue.
Yeah, fair
Exactly.
enough. Equal to 5 plus your Constitution modifier. That's how many rounds you have
Okay.
of breath. If you make an attack action on your turn, you will lose 2 rounds worth of breath, and if you do anything with a verbal component, you will lose all remaining breath.
Okay.
Got what I'm saying?
So, as of right now, I have 7 rounds. So that's 5 plus my con, which is 2.
Cool. So you can attempt to escape by wrestling your way out of there, or you can attempt to slice your way out. If you do that, you have to break a threshold of slashing damage with 1 attack, and et cetera, et cetera. We'll get to it. Doesn't matter. Okay. The Gibbering Mouther has 2 more actions because that is a 1 action engulf that this insane creature has. So it reaches out towards Ao with one of its many mouths as it is sucking in air and suffocating slowly to death. Here comes a strike against Ao. It's a 17.
That is a miss.
Okay, so
She
Ao...
spits in its mouth.
Oh, no. And as Ao's spit lands in its mouth, you see that mouth go, and cough up a huge loogie of spittle, sending it up over Ao's body straight towards Trill
Ooh.
Ew.
with a 17.
Loogie attack. Or was that flavor loogie?
No, this is a spittle attack.
Yeah, that's a mechanical loogie if I've ever seen one.
This
That
is supported
17
fully by the
misses.
system. Okay, 17 misses.
Thank God. Trill leans out of the way and looks at Loogie, and then also looks at Ao. She's like,
Oh, what? Gross.
What the fuck? Ao shouts while Trill's.
She said, what is wrong with you sometimes?
Me? You got this fucking mouth thing and you're shouting at me? Priorities, Trill.
And as this back and forth reverberates through this large open stone hallway, we're at the beginning of round 3. And basically everybody is up around these stairs leading down into this tile platform, Mag a short distance away, but everybody else sort of piled up on the lower reaches of this staircase. It is now Ao's turn.
If I can't spit in your mouth, I'm going to cut you in your mouth, she says. And she pulls out Mark, the rapier, and does a quick, double, not a double slice, because she doesn't have a beautiful instrument allowing her to do that, but she
No.
does.
Shame.
You know, she doesn't necessarily need one, but I will say it does. It doesn't hurt.
Doesn't hurt.
Gives you a different feeling.
First strike is a 22 to hit.
So that 22 manages to hit only because shortly before getting enveloped, Vadim landed a critical hit on the Gibbering Mouther, knocking it flat-footed. So I'm going to give a hero point to Vadim for that.
Isn't it also flat-footed by virtue of where it's standing?
You would think so, but it cannot be flat-footed through flanking because it has eyes pointing in every single direction. It's
Right.
able to focus all around itself. So a typical monster, yes, but not this one.
It's all so that's 18 points of damage on the first strike. And then she goes to strike again, and that's just 17, which I assume is not going to hit.
Yeah, that's going to miss. It wriggles out of the way just as Ao's rapier flashes above it.
So she flavor spits on it once more.
Okay.
Take
right
that.
in one of its flavor eyes as it blinks, looking at you with murderous intent. Mag is about 20 feet away from this scene with Ao and the gibbering mouther, and she also sees this grothlet barely hanging on to life a short distance away. What will Mag do?
What does Mag know about the consequences of bashing the gibbering mouther with Vadim inside?
I think that Mag feels confident that she'll be able to hit this thing without doing much to Vadim. This is a thick mass of skin, flesh, eyes, and hair and teeth and stuff. I think that you feel confident that'll be fine.
All right, so from her own experience being enveloped by this thing, she's pretty confident that she can mash it without mashing what's contained inside it. Okay, so
yeah, I wonder if Mag wished that somebody would have done what Mag is about to do now while she was inside a gibbering mouther those many weeks ago.
Indeed. First, Mag is going to move up next to it, and then a big old maul strike on the gibbering mouther / Vadim. And that is a 29 to hit.
29 hits. Not quite a critical, but you do bash into the gibbering mouther and hear it squish underneath your bludgeoning maul.
Shame to be sickened. Wouldn't mind hitting 30 on that.
That could have potentially been a, yeah.
Here is the damage for it. It is 19 damage.
19 damage, and you feel yourself blasting through a lot of the exterior of this gibbering mouther, but it is still up. So in front of Mag, you see a grothlet wavering back and forth on its slug-like appendage, and a gibbering mouther gasping for breath, barely hanging on to life in front of her. Two very badly off monsters right in front of her.
Mag will go ahead and hit the mouther again because her friend is inside and because hitting stuff for the party is kind of her deal.
Nice.
Almost had a big roll there, but it netted out on a 22 to hit.
That hits.
Actually, it should be even less. That doesn't have a map. So it's only a 17 to hit.
That misses.
God.
I like the 22 better. Let's stick with that.
I liked it better, although I'm not sure it was enough, even on its own.
So Mag's Maul slams into these stairs that the gibbering mouther is rolling around on, and you send dust and rock scattering all over the floor. And with that, the grothlet, this mindless creature, will I have it move to a flanking position against Mag? Is that something that this monster would do? Probably not. Okay, so this grothlet reaches out with a claw, just like desperately slashing forward towards Mag. Bad roll, 2 on the die. That's a 13. Second strike.
A fumble card because you fumbled hard.
I rolled what I like to call
Very
a 1 on the die.
That was 2 bad rolls in a row. A bad one and a worse one.
Right, the second worst roll followed by the worst roll. So this is called frustration. I take a -2 penalty to attack rolls until the end of my next turn.
I think that would define that those rolls.
That's what's
for you,
happening.
Lars.
Yeah. God, it's amazing how this deck knows exactly what to give me at all times. The grothlet sort of goes, and just sort of squishes across the room back towards the pit, trying to get away from Mag. And it's now Trilphus's turn.
So as I'm getting used to Trill's fancy new spell, I think Trill's going to move because she wants to. There's a nice clear line between both of these 2 remaining monsters. So Trill's going to race down the stairs She's then going to electric arc.
Love that spell.
And you're targeting the two bad guys?
Yeah, the two bad guys. That would be the ones. The damage will be 14.
Okay. Okay, guys. Let's just make these reflex saves. Here's what I got. From the Gibbering Mouther, I rolled another 1. That's a critical failure.
Wow.
Is that good?
That's good.
It's good
Meaning
for
that
us.
Vadim hears this like crackling, the surge of electricity,
Oh no.
and just
Sorry,
sees
Vadim.
this thing vaporize around him, just like a plume of ash sort of
Awesome.
washes away from Vadim as it takes 28 of 3 damage and is just completely destroyed. The Grothlet just rolled another terrible roll. No, not so terrible. The Grothlet rolled a 13, but the Grothlet is not very quick, so that's a failure, meaning it takes the full 14 points of damage. And as this electricity crackles around the Grothlet, it goes, and all of these pockets of pus inflate on it, and then it just goes, and splashes everybody within 30 feet,
Oh, right. That happens.
which is to say, all of you.
Well, I'm gonna opt out. Yeah, I was
Oh, you're
wearing
gonna
a
opt out.
poncho.
Okay, so
I had
all
the
of you-
poncho. Yeah.
Zoe let me know she didn't want this to happen, so she told me ahead of time. It's okay. Meaning everybody needs to make a fortitude save to avoid taking 8 points of acid damage and becoming sickened.
Trill's gonna get sick again.
How did AO do on that?
23.
That is a success, meaning you take nothing.
Nothing.
Mag, how did you do?
It's a 20 for Mag.
So Mag manages to withstand the unpleasantness of this grotesque acid splashing all over her. Trill, how did you do?
Well, Trill was already sickened 1. So Trill ended up with a 17.
Okay, so that's a failure. You take that full damage. You take all 8 points of damage. You're already sickened. You're still sickened. And then how did Vadim do?
Vadim did very well, possibly because there was a gibbering mouther engulfing him to provide cover.
Insulation.
He got a 28.
So that's a success. No damage for you either, as you realize that there is no longer any disgusting creature in here attempting to reflexively fight you.
And Trill is now covered in slime and is standing on this tile floor doing,
Kind of looking like Ray Stantz and Ghostbusters.
Exactly. just kind of trying to unsicken herself.
Oh, wait, it was Bill Murray. It wasn't Ray Stantz. Sorry. Yes.
Okay, she's very grossed out at this moment, as am I.
Thank you, Trill, for that electricity, though. That was tremendous. Vadim is still sort of slick from mouther saliva,
Yeah,
too.
I'm
Slick
glad.
from mouth or saliva.
Nice to have the episode title out of the way.
Ooh, I'm glad I spent a month learning that spell.
Oh, me
Oh
too.
God.
Well, don't throw up. If you throw up, I'm going to throw up.
Oh,
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Mag takes out her bedroll and
A+ bedroll work.
Yeah, that's a hero point bedroll activity right there.
Oh, for
It
sure.
is. It is. You're right.
That's some callback work right there.
excellent.
it doesn't even matter what she does with it, right? It's just out.
At this point, no.
People just love seeing the bedroll come out.
Yeah,
There's
so
a lot
she,
of
you know-
bedroll fans out here.
and she's using it to try and she's sickened 1 herself, so this is not the easiest thing, but she's using it to try and kind of clean off Vadim a little bit. She's giving a corner to Trill for Trill to wipe her chin. After handing off the bedroll, she turns back to the area to the south here, which it's like this round room, and is it like a pit in the middle of it and stairs going down? What are we working with here?
Yeah, so it's a circular staircase leading down around this like 30-foot wide pit. You like if you look out over this railing, you smell chemicals and rot and sulfur coming up from the darkness, and you hear more strange moaning down below you. It leads, like if you were to hold your light up over the pit, the light fails to find the bottom of this pit.
Max sees that one of the remains of one of the grothlets is sitting by the edge of this pit, this whatever it is, round chasm, and with her foot she nudges it toward and then over the edge, sending the remains of this creature tumbling below to see what happens and if there's any change in the sound or the apparent activity down below when this thing falls in.
The grothlet pitches forward over the railing, falls for what sounds like a pretty considerable distance into the darkness, and you faintly hear as it sounds like it hits upon some sort of hard floor. The moaning sounds that you hear stop for a brief moment and then resume after about 15 seconds.
Can you make the sound again? Okay.
Well, not 100% sure what to make of that. I guess let's so there's something down there, and it was either distracted by or engaged by.
Or it was like hurt enough that it like got the wind knocked out of it and had to be like,
Ugh, oof, ow. I guess let's take a quick look around where we are. Anything other than the remains of the battle? We got any loot? We got any doors? Any markings? Any fun stuff?
All sorts of fun stuff. Great question.
Thanks.
You don't see any treasure, but you do see this circular walkway surrounding this pit leading downwards into the darkness. There are 3 doors on this circular walkway, one leading to the west, one leading to the south, and one leading to the east. And as you take a look at these doors, you see that they're all made out of wood with banded iron, covered with gouge marks as though they've been beaten on by beasts over the years. But aside from that, you don't see much of any sign of you don't get much sign just from looking at them of what's behind these doors.
Okay. So I'm thinking back to things that we learned from Belcora's journal right now. As we've been looking at all of these things, I was thinking back to everything that came out of that. So grothlets are flesh warped, as you had said before, Lars, right?
Yeah, I think that the first time that you saw these creatures, somebody did a recall knowledge on them. I think that Trill probably has a sense of what it is that these are. These are creatures that were once human that are essentially the result of a failed attempt to do flesh warping, a failed attempt to like hybridize and change and evolve people into something different. When that process fails, they come out as a grothlet.
And we learned in her journals that she has flesh warping labs. Like she does flesh, or she's been attempting flesh warping in the lower levels of the keep in the Abomination vaults.
Yes. You learned in her journals that the lower levels of the Abomination vaults include...
There's the flesh warp, there's where she's doing the flesh warping, but also there were combat areas where she would have them fight against, like different things fight against each other for her pleasure.
Yeah, almost like gladiatorial arenas.
Yes, there we go, arenas. Looking down at this space, that made me think that. at the kind of circularness of this and how that was going down very deep. So I was starting to think of that. And then I know at the base all the way down, and which is what we saw also in the map that AO had that looked and inspected, was way down at the bottom, is where we get to that temple space to Nimbeloth, where apparently the empty dark had touched this world at some point.
Yes.
That was
That's
way down
all
the
correct.
lowest part.
That all checks out.
And then another thing I remembered, this was just because we joke about this a lot, Zoe.
Yeah.
I was going back over notes, and I remembered we joke about why there is wondering when on earth you're going to have your astrology lore. And I thought it was interesting that she mentions.
Oh, I'm listening. I'm as ready for this as anybody else
I don't
is.
know where this connection is going to be, but I'd never heard this until it was in her journal. The name of the military in Absalom is the Star Watch.
Oh.
That's true.
So I'm an expert on the Absalom military, right?
So I'm wondering
That's
if
right.
there's some connection because it was the Star Watch that exiled her family from the Isle of Kortos.
Okay. That could
So
be.
I don't know if that's going to
I like
someday
that.
be helpful, but I'm
I
trying
like
to make
it. It
connections.
ties together in a fun way.
So there we go. I'm trying to just make connections in places where we haven't seen them yet.
Listen, I'm going to tell you, any opportunity that I can take to fudge what it is that astrology lore is helpful for to try to make you guys feel good about that choice, I will take it. I'm on the verge of having the Star Watch burst into this room right now just so that you can do astrology lore against them.
Now listen, ma'am, this is just a routine astrology lore check. We're gonna need you to roll a d20 here. What's your modifier on that? I believe it's intelligence you use with any lore. Thank you. Oh, a 17. That's a very good roll, ma'am.
It's really funny that you say that, Robin, because the other game that Armat and I play in, the Star Watch features very heavily into this story.
I was just thinking about that actually during that.
Yeah.
Hence, you already had an accent for one of them.
That is the character I play in.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
He's just
Keystone
trying
Cop.
to get home to his family, you know?
Finally, we have a crossover app. This in your other game.
Real talk, don't tease me like that. I would love crossover apps.
That'd be cool. I have no plan. I have no new information. I was just trying to see what we could throw some ideas out there, see what sticks, see what other people think.
So, Robin, what if anything do you make of, okay, so the Grothlets may be, Belcora may be up to a lot of flesh warping for various purposes, including it having something to do with her master plan, or possibly including, I don't know, some sort of weird gladiatorial blood sport thing that she does. And we keep running into the prototypes. all of her alpha and beta tests are wandering the halls trying to eat us.
Oh, maybe that blue woman is still the one who's running those tests. Because we heard about the blue woman before.
Which I took to be just another but I took to be another drow.
Maybe? Because she was our drow blue ever? Lars?
They have sort of pale white skin.
So she's not...
Perhaps a
But like if
bluish,
the walls are
a bluish
blue,
tinge.
it might reflect,
right.
you know?
Yeah. Under a blue light, for sure.
They pick up the decor or whatever it is.
Because Lasta had talked
tofu.
about there had been a blue woman who was also doing tests on him.
Who was torturing him, yeah.
Who was torturing him.
Right.
And that she was... and that she and Volek were fighting.
So I thought that might be Belcora.
It wasn't
I thought
Belcora.
It wasn't?
Belcora is not drow. Belcora is human.
She Bloomin'?
Mm-mm.
I mean, she could...
No.
Could it be a
But
ghost?
she's also, remember, Belcora also was not communicating with Volek. She wouldn't speak with him. It's only her spirit. She's incorporeal. Sure, she's not. Yeah, she's incorporeal.
Yeah, Volek was complaining that Belcora is currently not speaking with him.
Right.
That her spirit. So the fact that he was fighting with the blue woman tells us that's not Belcora, I assume. Right? Or is it the other way around? Is it Belcora? And they fought, and so now she's not speaking with him.
So
I'm confused.
Yeah.
Maybe that was Belcora, and they fought, and now she's not speaking with him.
Does this resolve into any? I mean, do you put these pieces together into? I'm just trying.
I'm
to.
so confused.
Well,
Lars,
We probably
what
need
can you
Zoe
give
to
us?
do an astrology check to figure it all out.
It
Yeah.
seems like the only way to make any
Oh my gosh,
sort of...
Zoe, come back.
Yeah, we should pause.
I'm a Scorpio.
driven
What's
Zoe from
what's my?
Presumably, she's currently replacing our son in bed because that's what we do at this hour.
That's what we do, baby.
Oh, Tilden.
Which honestly is great because it gives me time to do internet research to try and come up with an astrology pun that I can use.
Okay, great.
Sure.
I'm a Scorpion. It's what I do. It's my nature.
Might be a little Pisces in the sky.
Oh, is it astrology lore time?
All right, so what do you guys think you're going to do?
Well, I think we ought to kick one of these doors in and start seeing what's going on in this floor. Do we look south, look east, or look west?
Well, Ayo, do you want to go clockwise?
Yeah, obviously. It's like the only sensible way to go around this room. I don't know why you guys are always just like going helter-skelter, but yeah. And she saunters over to the door to the east.
Can I get a quick lay on hands from Vadim?
Yeah. Actually, I need that too. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Can we assume during all this investigation we were doing lay on hands?
It's just 10 minutes for me. And
cool. So
I need. What are you at now, Vadim, per 10 minutes?
I think it's
100 million points.
32 points. That was like 18, right?
18.
Okay, yeah. So I just need 10 minutes because I need 12 hit points back.
While they're doing that, Ao
Perfect.
sort of like pokes around to see if she can learn anything else or find any hidden doors or anything.
Yeah, so I'll say that while you're healing up, you're all able to clear your sickness at this point. You're able to get your head straight. You're no longer your heads are no longer swimming with the horrible smell of exploded Grothlet. Ao's able to, during that time, not find any secret doors, but is able to push on these banded wooden doors that I described earlier. And you feel pretty confident just from nudging one open and feeling it swing back against you that these doors are weighted and will close automatically shortly after you pass through them. And aside from that, there's not much for Ao to discover right around here.
We got to prop them open if we want to be able to get them. And I assume it's not going to be something like nice and fun in here, right? Once and ever something nice and fun. Anyways, these are going to close behind us. So someone got Mag. What's in the bag of holding? Can we put the chair here? Not the 9 out of 10 chair, but aren't there a couple other chairs?
Maybe we could put a book like in the hinges.
maybe your bedroll. I assume you don't want to sleep in that again. I mean, that just looks...
is that what that smell is?
I think so. At least partially.
It doesn't smell like that from my sleeping on it.
No, it smells like that because you mopped up a bunch of vomit with it, obviously.
Well, that was never the assumption.
Let's see. What do we have in the old bag of holding? I assume we have a couple of doorstops in there, right? Didn't we grab some of those when we were back in town?
So I'll say that this area has stone broken up from the stonework all over the place. So I'll say that if you want to prop doors open, that's something you could do pretty trivially.
All right, so that's what we'll do. I guess Mag is going to have trouble doing that right when we open the door because she has a two-handed weapon.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm going to also say that propping it open is something you're going to need to take like a minute or so to do it. If something jumps out and ambushes you, that door is going to probably swing closed.
Yeah.
But your Trill and AO can try and do that anyway since they're more nimble with their hands.
Has anyone seen the movie Barbarian yet?
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
I heard that it's very scary.
I won't say too much, but there's a bit about propping doors in it that's relevant to our discussion, I'll say.
Well, do a barbarian on these doors if you want to.
Yeah, let's.
So the eastern door.
So you're taking the eastern door. Interesting. Joking.
Right. Do the eastern door. We'll open it. We'll open it up, and I guess also, Lars. Now that I have a exclusively two-handed weapon, am I able to open a door and then immediately put my hand on the other weapon, or if something's right there, am I going to need to take an action to hit it?
I'll say if something is there ambushing you, you're probably going to need to take another action to put it back up to 2 hands. But, so yeah, if you'd rather have somebody else open doors just so you can be ready for ambushes, that's something to consider.
Yeah. Okay. All right, cool. Well, we'll go ahead and Mag will open that eastern door, look just inside, stand just inside, and give other folks a chance to prop it.
Okay. So Mag steps into this hallway while everybody else, while people come up behind you to prop this door open, and the light from your wayfinder is extending a short distance into a long hall. You're not able to see the end of where your light casts, but what you are able to see as you sort of peer down this dark hallway is a door to a short distance away to the south and a small hallway leading off to the north. And then to the east, the hallway disappears into the darkness, and you're not sure what's happening in that direction.
Ao spends a minute fidgeting with the door, keeping it propped open along with Trill.
Okay. So, confident that the door is now open, the 4 of you step into this hallway as the light from the wayfinder continues illuminating the distance in front of you. After about 15 feet walking into the hallway, Mag sees that there is a door at the far eastern edge of this hall, meaning that essentially it's a 50-foot hallway with 3 doors, one leading to the south, one leading to the north, and one leading to the east. And the walls, the ceilings in this area are all about 15 feet high. This seems like it is a space that is built to accommodate large creatures moving through it. And
Like a
you do
gibbering
see
mouth
for instance, and you see more of these telltale sort of gouge marks around. This is a worn place that seems like it has contained at some point large creatures with natural weapons.
That doesn't bode well.
Doesn't bode well for not hitting something big with a hammer. All right, let's.
That's her catchphrase. Doesn't bode well for not hitting things with a hammer.
Zippy, zippy do.
Zippy, zippy.
Get that
zip.
on a kitchen towel and up in a merch store. Am I right?
Yep.
Okay, so we're at the first door now, right? So I think Mag would probably, signal to the others. All right, if I go in here.
Ao sighs quietly to herself and says, they always make it so hard to go clockwise.
I'd be just as happy continuing down the hall and opening the one to the north.
No, the way they've set this up, it'd be insane to not go on the first one. We're going to skip this. Just do it. Whatever. Widdershins it is.
Possibly also there could then be enemies behind us, which would be suboptimal, I suspect.
Now, what if we went helter-skelter?
We always go helter-skelter.
Thrill, your middle name is not Manson, right? Let's just get that out of the way real quick.
Trilphus Manson Huddlelob.
It explains her charisma. Am I right?
It's a perfectly normal Brasselrack middle name.
Ayo, does this door require propping as well?
Zoe, I'll let you know. All these doors look like they are similarly weighted.
Yeah, good thing I brought all these rocks. Ao's been holding an armful of rocks.
Mag holds out the bag of holding.
Ew, when you said you were going to get stoned, I didn't think you meant it. Never mind.
Dad joke, lame Vadim.
This explains why your middle name is Gallagher.
Too soon.
Comedy
Too
is
soon.
still comedy, damn it.
R.I.P.
Did he just die?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Like
Yeah.
2 days ago.
Oh, I definitely would have. Well, I definitely
Just.
would have chosen someone else.
You would have gone Carrot Top. You would have done it.
You know what? I think it's a beautiful
Tribute.
to his memory.
All right, let's open up this door to the south.
Ching, ching, ching. It's locked.
All right,
Is
let's head
there
back to
a
town.
keyhole anywhere?
Maybe Ao
Yeah,
could,
there's definitely a lock that seems like it would be opened with a key, and you do see that this iron banding, while it looks strong, could be potentially busted open. Could be broken down.
Do we have any spare extra keys?
I don't have any on me. Let me check the bag.
You know, we're pretty good at finding keys. Maybe if we keep looking, we'll find the key for this.
While everyone's talking, Ao gets her thieves' tools out and begins rummaging with the lock.
Can Mag aid by pushing on it or whatever? Giving it a little hoo-ah?
Yeah, I think that's fine. You can aid with athletics to try to pull the door into a position where the lock is more easily manipulated.
Oh, didn't you have assurance for athletics?
Why would anyone take that? It's useless.
It's a waste.
Terrible feat.
I'll just go ahead and roll more than a 6. How about that?
So get ready to roll a bunch of dice, please, because these doors are always like you'd make a separate check for each tumbler on the lock.
And it's a 29 tumbler lock.
Yeah, pretty much. So we're going to go until we get 4 successful thievery checks, and Mag each time can roll athletics to try to aid.
Yeah, right.
Let's get the aid first, and then the thievery check.
All right, so 22 to aid.
Okay, so that'll give a +1 to Ao's first thievery.
It's a 30.
Okay, so you hear clink. Part of the lock manages to snap into the right place.
It's going to be easy.
Next aid's a 21.
That's a success. So you get
and
another +1.
17, so an 18 for Ao.
Okay, so that one, the lock is stubbornly staying put.
Oh.
Next aid's a 23.
Another +1.
Another 17, so another 18.
Nope.
Woof. Mag continuing to kind of lever and jostle the door. This time it's a 28 to aid.
Okay.
And a 26 that time, so 27 total.
So you get the feeling like you're halfway through this lock as the two of you sort of shake this door back and forth and continue to meticulously take this lock apart.
Mag, your palms are sweaty to the left.
Hearing that, Mag lifts ever just so, just an absolutely perfect angle to help with this. That's a 20 on the die for a 34 to aid.
So that's a +2 to the next thievery check.
That makes Ao's 31 a 33.
And you hear the next tumbler slide into place.
That's it. Just keep it like that.
I'm doing my best.
Don't talk.
And that's a 25 to aid.
It seems that being told not to talk put Mag back into regular success territory. So that's a +1.
That makes Ao's 28 a 29.
Okay, so you hear the lock finally as this large mechanical apparatus turns inside of it and the door starts moving freely.
Mag reaches into the bag of holding and tosses a small rock back to Ao. Nice work.
I got the door.
Just like to point out that if I had used assurance, none of those would have succeeded. And instead, all of them succeeded and one of them critically succeeded.
That's
But
absolutely
who's counting?
What a
Snaps.
garbage feed.
This whole time in the background, while we were waiting for this to happen, I imagine Vadim and Trill, like with a piece of string doing
Playing
Jacob's
cat's
ladder,
cradle.
like cat's cradle. Yeah.
Almost at that time.
No, you gotta go under with the rabbit's ears.
Under with the I don't understand
Then
this
go
at all.
round.
Okay, I'm going round.
All right, what are we working with here?
That door swings open and you find yourself looking into another hallway, and the light of the Wayfinder illuminates another door 10 feet away.
As we go through the hallway, Trill's running her hands along the wall to also try and find secret passages.
Okay, so Trill starts searching. Got it.
I don't know. Same procedure. Mag would like to open this one while scouting for enemies.
This one's locked too, guys.
Yeah.
A slow thievery check situation.
Let's roll some dice, guys. So yeah, this door seems locked. Again, you get the feeling like you could bash it open or you could attempt to pick the lock.
Mag is running out of patience. She wants to bash.
Sounds good. Yeah, give me an athletics check. Sorry.
Okay. I'll go ahead and use assurance for this. So that's going to be a 7. Does a 7 do it?
It doesn't do it.
All right. It's a 31 on the athletics check.
In one brutal motion, Mag slams into the door and it goes flying off the hinges.
God, I had it. Jeez.
And it lands on the floor in front of Mag. And Mag finds herself looking into what looks like a supply room. There are shelves that are stocked with jars of preserved organs. You see crates that as you look in from the door, you see that they're filled with maybe bones, it looks like. There are 2 armor stands next to a weapon rack on the southern side of the room. But you only see a pair of gnarled sticks in leather sheaths on those racks.
Can Vadim make a medicine check by the organs and bones and stuff to see if he can figure out what's going on with that?
Yeah. Vadim, looking through these crates, sees that these bones are like wrapped in rags and there are surgical tools. Give me that medicine check, blind, please.
You got it.
And to Vadim, it looks like these are ancient. They've been here for centuries.
So they don't smell like a grothlet, is what you're telling me.
They do not smell like a grothlet.
Well, that's probably for the best.
Can Trill do... Let's see. I mean, would occultism work to see if she can figure out what they're for?
Sure, give me an occultism check. Blind. So Trill looks through these crates, and she gets the sense that these have been filled quite recently with these bones, these rags, these surgical tools, almost as sort of like spare parts for somebody doing some kind of medical work, some sort of strange research.
So Vadim said that they'd been here thousands of years.
Hundreds of years, yeah.
Hundreds of years. And Trill says, no, these are new.
That's right.
Interesting. For medical research.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyone else want to take a swing and see which one of us is right or wrong?
I was going to say,
Right.
Ao, ignoring everyone's banter in the background, is like walking around, touching the dust and trying to figure out what's going on.
Do you want to look at the same crates that Trill and Vadim are looking at? Cool.
Yeah.
Give me a blind occultism, please. Ao takes a look at this, and she agrees with Trill that this looks like it has been used recently. Ao feels that these are almost like spare parts that are being used for some ongoing experiments, that like this is a storage room, like a supply room being used by somebody doing ongoing experiments on aberrant creatures.
Maybe this is where the blue lady comes?
Oh, but it's messed up. Vadim, I think these are new. I don't think they're old.
Well, I mean, new, old.
Yeah, time is a flat circle, but someone has been doing messed up shit with these.
Oh, yeah, that unquestionably. I mean, have you seen the rest of this place? Pretty
I guess
fucked
that's
up.
true. When have we seen an animal treated well around here?
Yeah, not well.
Mag is not going to be able to make as much of the body parts or like the magicking or whatever. I think she wants to look for clues in a more, I don't know, like forensic or investigative. I guess, is there anything else in here other than these jars? That's one thing. Is there a sign? Are there whatever differences in the dust patterns that suggest some of them have been moved? Is there are there like writings or records anywhere? So I don't know if this is like general perception stuff, or maybe it's a little more like survival or society or something, but kind of more of like a forensic check than a magic.
That feels like it's getting into survival. So if you want to roll survival, that's the thing you could do.
You want it blind, yeah?
Yes, please.
There it is.
Okay, so yeah, Mag looking around this room, looking at dust, looking at tracks, that kind of thing, gets the sense that this room gets revisited maybe once every few months. So whoever it is that's using this to store material for whatever it is that they're storing it here for, they come in here, they drop something off, they pick something up, and then they, again, you were the one knocking this door off the hinges. So whoever it is that comes in here uses a key, unlocks the place, leaves for months at a time, and then comes back.
Could be the blue lady indeed.
Would Mag be interested in looking at the weapons rack at all
Yeah.
more closely?
Yeah, let's do that.
So taking a look at the shelves around the room, Mag spots 3 vials of interesting looking alchemical fluids. And those 2 gnarled sticks in leather sheaths look to Mag like wands. She doesn't know what sorts of spells they cast, but she's, you're pretty confident that there's some sort of spell that these wands would cast.
Hey, Mag, what you got over there?
What's that?
Mag hands them over to the magicked in the group.
And both
Okay.
Ao and Trill are able to recognize one of these wands as a wand of Summon Fey level 2, which means that it can summon a level 1 Fey creature. And the other one looks like it is a wand of 2nd level Soothe.
All right.
I have been wanting to summon Fae for so long. And since Trill already has Soothe, Trill obviously offers up the wand of Soothe to Ao.
Yeah, and she has a level 1, but I think the level 2 one makes it. And
Much better, yeah.
While this is going down, she's sort of like looking down at her cape, and she's like, yeah. No, what? Yeah, you take it, Troll. Frown doesn't want the competition.
The summon Fae.
Yeah, I feel like Ao needs no more
Fantastic.
additional creatures in her life.
Trill's
Lest
like,
we forget the morale boosting tooth that is always with her.
Oh, never. We never
Yes.
forget that.
We never forget Frown. As a gnomes have some Fae heritage, so Trill's happy to take that.
So you tuck those 2 wands away, and if anybody wants to identify either of these 3 alchemical items, it'll take 10 minutes per attempt.
Yeah, Trill can take a look at those.
Okay, and these are crafting checks that you would want to do to
Oh,
identify the
crafting
alchemy.
checks? No, that's more for Mag. I take it back. Does Mag want to identify?
Yes, please.
Okay, so 10 minutes for this first liquid.
We got the eyepiece in.
It's a strange cloudy mixture. So you can give me that crafting check that I just put into chat, please.
You want blind?
Sure. Okay. So Mag takes a look at this and recognizes it as what's called a moderate bestial mutagen.
Oh.
Gesundheit?
Does that give you a bite attack?
It gives you a bite attack. It sure does. Your features transform after you drink this thing. Your features transform into something bestial, and you take on muscle mass, but your lumbering form is clumsy. So you get bonuses to athletics checks and unarmed attack rolls. You gain a claw attack. You gain a
Oh, it
bite
literally
attack.
Does give you a bite attack.
It
I was
does.
kidding.
Gosh.
No, it
It
actually
does.
does.
This makes sense for someone who's into flesh warping.
But you do take a penalty to armor class and reflex saves.
Hmm.
And if you want to take a look at the next vial, you can make
Please.
this crafting check.
Yes.
And Mag easily identifies this next one as a vial of what is known as Juggernaut mutagen. If you drink this mutagen, your body becomes thick and sturdy. You exhibit a healthy glow, but you tend to be ponderous and unobservant. You get bonuses to fortitude saves, and you get some temporary hit points, but you take a penalty to will saves, perception checks, and initiative rolls.
I love these. These are fun.
And if you want to take a look at this next one, it's another crafting check.
And if I drink them all at once,
I was just thinking Ao slams them all back.
You become an X-Man.
I believe there is actually a rule with all of these mutagens that, like,
can't stack 'em.
if you drink one, it supplants the other one.
That's probably wise.
Yes,
out.
the game continues to be balanced. So Mag it struggles with this one for a moment, but then realizes what she's looking at is something called a Quicksilver mutagen, another
Gosh,
moderate
You
one.
do become a X-Man. Wow.
Yes. This one makes you thin and angular. Your body becomes swift and nimble, but you become fragile as well. You get a bonus to acrobatics checks, stealth checks, thievery checks, reflex saves, and dexterity-based attack rolls, and you get to move faster. However, you take some damage when you drink it, and you take a penalty to fortitude saves. So to recap, you've got a bestial mutagen, which turns you into a beast and gives you unarmed attacks and bonuses to attack rolls. A juggernaut mutagen, which gives you bonuses to fortitude saves and temporary hit points. And a quicksilver mutagen, which gives you bonuses to dexterity stuff.
Hot.
Cool.
Mag's certainly going to pocket the first two. She could pocket the third one too, but she's going to offer it up to folks. If anybody is interested in getting faster and nimbler, that sounds like could be Vadim stuff. Really, could be any of you.
+2 to dexterity-based attack rolls is pretty sweet, though.
I mean, you got a dex build, man.
For better or worse, I do have a dex build.
I'm happy to
for
take it. I
worse.
honestly think Vadim might be more likely to use it. Like, if I have it, I'll use it for something, but I think it's maybe best with Vadim.
Yeah, I'll totally take it if y'all are cool with it.
Do it.
Go for it.
Awesome. Thank you.
So all four of you come out of this delve into this supply room with something to show for it.
With supplies.
Whether it's a wand or a mutagen. And you get the feeling,
Or some cash they've stolen from their friend. Who can
Wait,
say?
what?
who can say?
Does my coin purse feel a little lighter to you guys?
Strange. I was
No, just me.
Bag of
Okay.
holding.
just thinking
Hey,
the same
where did
thing.
you get that ribbon? That wasn't my hair.
I have these
Mm-mm.
vials of liquid, but the purse feels lighter. Doesn't make sense.
It's just math. Ao saunters out the door, back up to the hallway.
So back in that hallway that you picked that lock on, there is another door leading up to the north and then a door leading off to the east.
Well, we encounter the one to the north first as we move down the hallway. Does this door appear to be potentially susceptible to bashing?
Or do we wait for all the locks?
Or do we want to roll a bunch of dice?
I had fun.
So Mag looking at this door doesn't get the sense that this one's locked.
She bashes it anyways.
Yeah, just practice.
After you got all those stones to prop them open, you're just
Well.
like, screw this.
All right. Well, acknowledging the possibility that there's something enormous behind it, let's get in formation and open it up.
Is anybody doing anything else? Are you blending into the shadows? Anything like that as you step in here?
It was staying hidden and looking for traps.
Vadim's scouting, I guess?
Same for Mag.
Trill is investigating a cult.
Got it. So Mag opens this door and does see something enormous. In fact, she sees two enormous things. Two gaping pits in the center of this wide room. Wide open square pits that are in front of smaller pits set into alcoves on the northern wall of the room. There's a dais at the room's west end that contains a stone throne with two rusty levers jutting from the floor next to it.
So, Lars, you would say that then this is a deus ex machina.
That's right. Where's my takeaway hero point button?
And I have been canned from the podcast.
Hey, everybody. I hope you enjoy Armat on the show.
He won't be appearing again.
He had a great run. Great job, Armat.
He's off to hang out
Honestly,
with the skunk.
I'm shocked I made it this long.
Lars pulls a lever by the dais that he sits on to record the podcast, and Armat falls into a deep pit.
What? No!
The game magistrate has found him guilty.
No.
Guilty.
Of common punnery.
On opposite sides of the room, on either side of these pits, you see two strange-looking creatures. They're spheroid. They're two balls, each with a huge toothy mouth and oversized muscular legs. And as Mag steps in the room and the light from the Wayfinder shines around the darkness here, you see these two bulbous spheroid creatures turn, like waddling to turn around to look at you. And it looks almost like they're grinning at you, a bright green acid oozing out of their gaping mouths. And above each of these mouths, there are 5 bulbous black eyes.
Thanks.
Each of these creatures is covered in strange scars and welts, as though they've been subjected to some sort of torture or experimentation. And these balls with legs swivel towards you, hungrily snapping their mouths at the air. And we will pick up from there next time.
They're like purple Pac-Men. They're so cute.
Yeah, where's the magic dots in here so that we can turn around and eat them?
The Roots of Ruin is a Tabletop Gold production produced under the Paizo Incorporated Community Use Policy. The Roots of Ruin uses trademarks and/or copyrights owned by Paizo Inc., used under Paizo's Community Use Policy. We are expressly prohibited from charging you to use or access this content. Paizo does not recognize, endorse, or sponsor this project in any way. Original characters and content are the property of Tabletop Gold. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. We at Tabletop Gold would love to hear from you. Email us at letters@tabletopgold.com and find all our social links at tabletopgold.com.